There was a languor, a want of spirits, a want of union which could not be got over. They separated too much into parties. At first it was downright dullness to Emma. She had never seen Frank Churchill so silent and stupid. He said nothing worth hearing, looked without seeing, admired without intelligence, listened without knowing what she said. While he was so dull, it was no wonder that Harriet should be dull likewise, and they were both insufferable. And thus begins the fateful picnic scene, written in Jane Austen's novel, Emma. It's a fateful scene that turns the whole trajectory of the book and of Emma's life. It's the scene of a picnic that was supposed to be happy, entertaining, and full of good food. But instead, those sentences portend the embarrassing social faux pas that Emma is fixing to make. Picnics were a very important form of entertainment to the upper classes in the Regency era. They were often elaborate affairs that required servants to even carry out. And while a picnic had to be taken outdoors, that didn't mean that you gave up certain comforts, such as tents for shade, chairs to sit on, and sometimes even tables to eat on. And while a picnic would have been a thrill for the picnic goers, I'm sure the servants dreaded the prospect of having to carry furniture and food over hill and dale. The spot for a picnic was also equally important as to the food. It had to be romantic, not in the dating sense, but in the aesthetic sense. One could only eat in a beautiful outdoor setting that would stimulate the appetite. And it's here against this idyllic backdrop of what's supposed to be a beautiful setting with wonderful food that Emma Woodhouse insults Miss Bates and gains the ire and chastisement of her good friend, Mr. Knightley. After the insult, the party begins to break up, and Emma finds herself alone with Mr. Knightley. He berates her for her choice of words, and at first she attempts to defend herself. And he comes back with a harsh assessment of her behavior. He acknowledges that yes, sometimes she does say ridiculous things. Were she your equal in situation, but Emma, consider how far this is from being the case. She is poor. She has sunk from the comfort she was born to, and if she lived to old age, must probably sink more. Her situation should secure your compassion. It was badly done indeed. The picnic has been ruined, and she has to admit that her behavior was very badly done indeed. And now let's take a break from Emma and her embarrassing picnic to look at this beautiful cookbook. Now this will be a little bit of a different tea time because we're going to actually be making a tea instead of something that goes with a tea. I have all the ingredients except for the most important part, which will be outside in the greenhouse. We're going to go out where I have all of my mints overwintering in here. And so we're going to go ahead and get a bundled variety of all kinds of mint, especially the orange and apple mint. And we'll throw some strawberry mint in there for good measure. This mint will grow all winter long in this greenhouse. And so you can see I have plenty of fresh green growth, even this late in the season. And now this tea is very quick and easy to make, and so we'll begin by zesting our orange. We will be squeezing both of these oranges to get the juice, but don't forget to cut a few slices of the orange and the lime before you juice them, so that you have some pretty slices to decorate your tea with. Now make sure you get as much juice out of your slices as you can, and make sure to take a moment to savor the wonderful scent of citrus that juicing oranges and limes releases into your kitchen. It smells so good on a fall day. And now comes the really fun part. Wash and dry your mint, and pluck your leaves off the stem and put them into a mortar. This is what's going to make the tea extra special. You'll use the pestle to help release the oils of the mint and infuse it in the sugar with the orange zest. This is where all the extra flavor for this tea is going to come from. And when you drink the finished result, you're going to be really glad that you included this step. And now you're going to add that mixture to a saucepan. Add your green tea leaves, your remaining sugar, and the 2.5 cups of water. Now I messed up right here and I added the orange and lime juice too soon. But the overall flavor was still really good. But if you want to make it exactly like the recipe, wait until you bring that to a boil. Reduce heat and then stir in the orange and lime juice. But for now, we'll leave that to boil and return to Emma. Because of Mr. Knightley's admonishments, Emma realizes that she holds his opinion in such high regard. She turns introspective and begins to change for the better. You'll be happy to know that she does go to Miss Bates, apologizes, and gains forgiveness. She realizes that the poor woman has a hard life, taking care of her invalid mother, with barely any extra money to do so. She's dependent upon what charity her friends decides to give her. And Emma realizes that she isn't someone to be made fun of, but someone to have compassion for, as a woman just trying to make the best of her circumstances. The novel goes back and forth a little bit in will they or won't they get together? But finally Mr. Knightley comes to Emma and says, "I cannot make speeches, Emma. If I loved you less, I might be able to talk about it more. But you understand me. Yes, you see, you understand my feelings, and will return them if you can. At present, I ask only to hear, once, to hear your voice." Emma is delighted, for in working on her character, she realized that that she did indeed love Mr. Knightley. And the end of the chapter sees them together, saying she was his own Emma by hand and word when they returned into the house. And so you see how what was supposed to be a simple picnic with friends upended the lives of almost everyone that was at that picnic, most notably Emma and Mr. Knightley. And now we're almost ready for a picnic of our own because we've allowed our tea to boil, simmer for 2 to 3 minutes, and then cool down in the pot. I don't have fancy glasses, but I do have this very retro 1960s glass my grandmother had with a fall motif. And now I'm ready to enjoy a cool glass of citrusy tea while I read yet another great novel from Jane Austen.
And if you like historical cooking and unusual cookbooks, here's 2 more videos you might enjoy. And make sure to like and subscribe for more foodie adventures.